Hello, good evening, and thanks again for another edition of Ideas Exchange. Will come your way on Wednesdays between 8 and 9 p.m. Tonight, our conversation will border on something that is very close to you, something that forms part of your movement across any part of this country. I'm referring to our roads. I'm sure you have noticed that many of such projects have come to a standstill. It is simply because the country is broke. The set of contractors I'm referring to may be the Latter-day Saints contractors. I'm not using Latter-day Saints to refer to contractors who don't know their ins and outs, or maybe they don't understand what they are doing. I'm referring to contractors who may be at post between 2017 and now. And many of them, including foreign contractors, are no more on the project because Ghana is simply broke. But as we speak, we know that government is getting some breathing space. So today, another set of contractors who have been heavily affected since 2017, and I'm sure you know the story about contractors who claim that they have not been paid, whether it was deliberate or it had a political interest or suspicion or whatever. What we know is that between 2017 and 2018, government said they were auditing a number of road projects. So many of these contractors were compelled to suspend their jobs. Some had actually done some part of their job or completed and had raised certificates. And normally, and as you would understand as this conversation goes on, when they raise certificates, it presupposes that they have done some aspect of the job. So officials from the highways or urban roads or whatever will go to site, inspect what they have done, and then pay them for that stretch. And then it continues till they have finished their project, and then they give them some time space within which, if there is any problem on that road, they may have to mobilize and fix them before they seal the project as duly completed. Today, some of them gathered, and there was a public forum. It is about a concern they have raised since 2017. We know some have died, we know some are bedridden, we know some have been divorced, some have been sacked from their homes, some have virtually lost their properties, because banks will not have that space. They also need to survive. Today at their open forum, I was privileged to go there, and I went there because I wanted to listen to exactly what the concerns have been since 2017, because we were made to believe that there was some intervention by government through Fidelity Bank. And I'll share with you extracts from that statement which was issued by government through the Finance Ministry and the stakeholders, i.e. the Ministry of Roads and Highways and other related agencies, which were responsible for ensuring that these contractors who have worked for years and have not been paid get their monies back. And this was December 2018. Now, extracts read: the government of Ghana, through its Ministry of Finance, is implementing a financing strategy that will facilitate the payment of a good portion of claims on the government from contracts for various construction projects executed across the country, validated by the Auditor General via leveraging the balance sheet of interested financial institutions. It goes ahead in the second paragraph I've extracted to talk about Fidelity Bank Ghana Limited. Now, this last paragraph is instructive, and this is what generated controversy, which made many believe that government was perhaps shortchanging contractors who have duly worked and must be paid, that cede off part of the money I owe you to another agency, a third party, so that at least you can survive. And this is how the paragraph reads: the discount price at which the contractor arrears shall be purchased shall be based on the results of an auction to be organized by Fidelity Bank Ghana Limited, through which each contractor submit voluntary bids of the level of discount they are willing to offer to sell or assign their IPCs to Fidelity Bank Ghana Limited. Now, these have gone on over the period, and you would notice that because of what we are talking about, many of the roads that you'll be seeing on the screen have been left abandoned. Some are in cocoa growing areas, some are in the inner city. When I talk about inner city, it could be Accra, Kumasi, Takoradi, any rural area where they are privileged enough to have some blessing from government for roads to be constructed. Now, monies pumped in these projects will go waste. especially as we are in the rainy season. It will tell you that the wear and tear, the usage of some of those facilities. And along the line, you'd notice that even some of these roads have culverts already constructed. Many of the roads were near completion and they had to stop. Now, any contractor who mobilizes and gets back to these roads would have to ask government to do a assessment of the project and get the project fixed. And these are library materials I just pulled out from various reports that have been done by different media houses across the country to reflect the nature of many of such roads in our country. And as you can see on our screens, this road, for example, as you see, is somewhere in the Ashanti region. Near completion, what was left was for graveling or the sealing to be done, and that would have completed. Many of them have been left. Now, today, when I was at the event, one thing that struck me was what provoked one of these contractors. And he was saying that government has always said there is no money. And since 2017, there's been attempts or promises or lip service to attempt to pay us. And some of us have received some bits of the money. But we were shocked to see what happened in Kwewu, suggesting that, after all, there's money. And the pictures you know already because it went viral on social media, saw heavy-duty equipment in the Kwewu area. And they were executing the project because government, Kumewu area, especially, and sorry for the slip, Kumewu area, we know the by-election went there just yesterday. And the mobilization on that stretch made some of them feel that it would appear as if it is just deliberate, that people over the years have been crying and crying and crying, and nothing seems to be happening. And so tonight, our conversation will be with the Association of Road Contractors. Two of them actually are going to be with me in the studio. But before that, just listen to excerpts of comments by two of them who spoke passionately about why anybody who is in their shoes should not be smiling as we speak.
For a month or two, what is going to happen? I mean, it's unbearable. We have arrears of about 5 years, 6 years, 2017, 2018, 2019, up to 2023. We want to buy, to go and borrow and do all these works. Look, let's ask our members. Most of them are dying. We can bear witness. They are dying. So if the government can look for emergency money to go and execute works at Kumewu, then there should be emergency money for contractors. There should be emergency money for contractors. We cannot live like this. I mean, members are dying. This is unfortunate. We are Ghanaians. We are also Ghanaians. So if a teacher cannot wait for 1 month or 2 months to be paid, then the same Ghanaian can wait for 5 years and 6 years. No. I think the government should do something about it.
Loans, they always have to have mortgages, and they use this equipment, for that. When you are not able to pay, the bank will definitely come at you. You can't run. So you will lose what you have used many years to acquire. And then not only the houses, but their offices, even the staff. What happens is that most of them find their way out. As to whether they find new jobs that quickly or not is a different matter. The moment a staff goes off, you can imagine the number of mouths that will be affected. Because in our cultural setting, every worker has to look after not only the wife and children, but it goes back. So the effect.
So it's a very pathetic situation because many of us have just over the last few days been sympathizing with pensioner bondholders. These are very old people who have struggled money to make savings, and they are begging government to release their monies to them. Many of the contractors I met today were very old, people who have been in business for decades, and all of a sudden there's a decision that we want to audit your business, and they have become beggars, now pleading with government to give them their own money. Now, the last person who spoke, Mr. Aban, obviously, if you look at his age, is a pensioner. And the man is talking about people losing their properties. And that is the basis of our conversation. But the focus is not about their complaints. It's about what next, especially when we have a broke country, when everything is suggesting that even those in business today, i.e. On executing projects on our highways or on our inner cities, are folding up. My guests are two abled members of the Association of Road Contractors. The first is the National Vice Chairman, is Mr. Stephen Atachi. He's the National Vice Chairman of the Association of Road Contractors. And then the lady in the middle, which will be shown to you shortly, is Mrs. Sylvia Eisen Ampiao. She's a former National Treasurer of the National Association of Road Contractors. You are welcome, gentlemen and lady.
Thank you.
Right. Now, what goes through your mind anytime you have the pain of recollecting how much you are owed, yet you live like a pauper?
Thank you very much, Eric, and greeting to your viewers and listeners. In fact, in actual fact, the whole thing looked like a movie. Why do I say that? When this government came to power, they quickly came out and they were able to put $10 million aside, not believing that the work done was not issue. I mean, the contract was not signed. But as I'm talking to you 7 years now, there is no single report to tell us that, look, Mr. A or Mr. B has been arrested, because that is a criminal act.
You are making reference to $10 million,
yes,
which was set aside to investigate.
They used that money. That money was spent. A whole office was set up for that money. And up to now, not a toilet paper just came out from that till up to today. That is number one. Again, we thought it was a joke. It was a joke. It was a joke. In 2018, we had a meeting with the ministry and the certain minister. We were told that they will pay, 50% of everybody's certificate. So we thought if you have about 4 or 5 certificates, they will add them and strike the 50%. Because the nature of our job, we don't finish all before, if you finish about 2%, you raise certificate. If you finish 2% of the contract sum, you raise certificate. And before we realize, they pick the smallest certificate is your certificate and pay the 50%.
So for clarity, it means that if you have 4 certificates,
yes,
for
or 5 or 6
project executed or certificates making claims,
yes,
they will pay at least 1.
No. The whole thing was, what we agree was 50%. It means that whatever amount you owe the government, they will pay 50% of it. But not knowing, before we realize, they pick 1 out of a lot you have over there and pay that money. And meanwhile, the loan we have taken from the banks and from the financial houses, we have taken money more than 60% before you reach that level. That's where the problem started. Before we realized, they came out with another distance. Because when we say discounting, if you talk about discounting, what it means is that you bring the certificate, they will give you a part of the money, then you go back to site. That's the because since these people came in, no mobilization again. So you have to pre-finance the project, no mobilization. So they came out and said, okay, now we should go to Fidelity Bank. And the meaning of going to Fidelity Bank is that tomorrow the government may not be held responsible for that issue again. Then your money is just finished.
That is how you understood.
Oh, yeah, that's the meaning. Because when the discounting, Why should government come in and tell us to go and do the discounting in Bank A? I don't understand. I just don't understand.
At that time, the understanding we were made to believe was that government was having difficulty raising funds, and therefore there was a middle party, which in this case was Fidelity Bank.
Yeah.
And so if Fidelity Bank was going to give you what government owes you for the effort that Fidelity Bank is making, you were going to lose some percentage of the total sum that was supposed to be the agreement reached.
No, my brother, let me tell you one thing. If a Konima die, Konima bury him. Look, I owe you. Whatever I'm going to make a financial arrangement, that's not your business. Are you getting my point? Yours is to tell me, take the check, go to Bank A, and go and take your money. I mean, this percentage I'm paying to you. Why do you use the word discounting? Why? I want somebody, you know.
I'll come to you, Madam Sylvia Ampiel. You represent the face of women in the construction industry. There's obviously, it's obviously a known fact that this has constrained your businesses. Now, can you help us appreciate the real impact?
Thank you very much. And let me greet your cherished listeners and then the viewers. Yes, what I would say is that it has really taken a big impact in our situation, such that because of this delay payment, now our business have collapsed. Now we can't even pay our workers, even our staffs. The association even had staff that it pays. We had an accountant, we had a secretary and all that. We can't pay them, so we've even sacked all of them. So with this delay payment thing had really not been good to us at all. Some years back, even this small one, now I can tell you, somebody had even done road shaping, or grass cutting, and up to now, for about 7 years now, the person hasn't been paid. How is the person going to leave? I had an opportunity to this Fidelity thing when we were asked to go there. Luckily for me, the bigger one I have there was paid, but then the small ones was not paid. But previously, those small ones, whoever was on by then would just gather all of them and pay. But now it is not like that. Somebody have done the sorting and it's there all these years. How would a person leave?
When you have conversations with them, because those watching us may have to appreciate the reality in your homes, in your offices, among your relations. How huge is this impact? Because if you want to look at the chain, the value chain, as far as your employees, their dependents, and so on are concerned, what do you pick?
It is very huge and it is very bad in a sense, and that is what we do. For us, we don't have any business doing. We do construction. So that is where we get money from. That is where we can pay ourselves. Now, if we manage to get something and you are not paying back our money to us, so just imagine you take a loan. How do you pay back? By the time you are paid, the interest has yielded.
So how have you survived over the years?
It is just by His grace.
How?
Fine. A little support from maybe my husband or friends. And luckily for me, I tried to go into this private to get small supplies and things to do. And that definitely is not big. It's just something
what Sylvia is raising is of critical concern, because I know government, and of course, this conversation has been your call that strengthen the local contractors, build their capacities, and let them execute huge projects so that the capital flight will be controlled. Now, Mr. Tachi, now, you want us to believe that the impact has been great, but let us appreciate this. Local contractors, you may have different groups. How are your members treating this incident, which some describe as purely deliberate?
Yeah, thank you. You see, let me go take you back small. When Kufuor was in power, the man did, the former president did well. What he did was, one, a bank was created. That's Amalgamated Bank. Now it's
Amalgamated
Bank. Now it's African Bank. And he makes sure investment bank too, the contractors, if you open account at the head office, you are entitled to 100,000 Ghana cedi. And if it is, branches, 50,000 Ghana cedi. And Amal Bank, when you go there, I can use my certificate to support my sister to get a financial through. And the system was relaxed. And when Asumje came to, I mean, we don't feel anything like that.
Asumje, you are referring to late Professor Mills.
Mills, yes. And that time, the system, they make sure the contractors. Look, that time people, the Kufuor time, grader, roller, those things, some of the contractors got it. And it's a part of building the capacity of the local contractors. When that continuation was there, I mean, things were, every 3 months, we are in the queue. First come, first serve. Though they could have some protocol to pay, we don't have problem that time. If there's a protocol you pay, we don't have a problem. But first come, first serve. And the 90 days, you see, in the contractual, when you raise your certificate, the 90 days, after 90 days, then the meter started reading. And when we meet at, highways, there is a coffee shop over there. And you see a contractor, one person can buy, the breakfast for his colleagues. There was a joy. But from 2016, and this government resumed 2017, we never enjoyed construction up to today.
Now, so where are your equipment?
Equipment, I really don't have a bigger one, but even the small ones.
I'm not speaking to you as an individual.
Yes.
I'm speaking to you as a reflection of the association, whether small or big, the general picture on the ground.
Even those who have this equipment, they cannot even maintain it. And so, if you can't even maintain your equipment, how do you then work? You would have to, it will spoil, and then you have to go and rent, go to plant pool and things to get it to come and work with. So it has really hadn't been, it's not good for us.
Do you see this development as a threat to the survival of your businesses?
Exactly.
Or it is just an issue of lack of money as government puts it? I'll come to you to that. What's your response to this?
I don't think it is lack of money. I think it's lack of planning. Because why do you then give out job if you don't have money to pay?
But the business was not given to you by this government.
Yes. And it's been like that. I started working NDC type of Rawlings time. When Rawlings left and President Kufuor came, he paid. We didn't.
There was no problem.
There was no problem. And then Kufuor left. Another person came. That is
Atta Mills.
Atta Mills. He paid what I have done or what we have done. But this one, it's really been a problem.
The picture I picked on the ground when we brought our cameras, and of course, I'm sure we have some pictures of some of your members when we visited your offices when the public forum was being organized. I got the impression that there's some level of fear among some of your members, and so they are reluctant. They are not coming out openly to talk about their problems. Why should it be so? No, I'm talking to you, Mr.
Yeah, you see, the nature of our business, some of them thinking that we are partners in development. We don't care government A in power, government B in power. That's not our business. Our business is, the business environment is very contagious for us to do our business. But some of them, they were thinking that if they come out, they will blacklist them. That is my understanding. By the close of the day, we are not doing a cocaine business, thinking that, oh, if I come out now, they ask me, what money at all are you asking from me? Because we don't buy I mean on credit. But this one is a genuine business we are doing. So some of us, we are saying it that, look, it is our right. You see, contractual.
If it is your right, why are you begging?
No. You see, not that we are begging. Because the whole thing is that our hand is their mouth. You have invested your money. He doesn't invest his money. But the close of the day, we are feeling for the country one day. Because
we will look at the impact of this on the National Development Plan, i.e. the construction or road construction industry. We'll be looking at what you are demanding now, because the conversation now is government is broke, there's IMF money that has come in, and therefore you may be looking at that. We'll look at that at the latter, that's the second half of this conversation. But I want you to watch this video. This happened in February 2020, when a contractor, we just heard this and the videos were viral on social media, when I think it's called Big Edu, went to the Roads and Highways Ministry. And then the video I am going to show will see that he went to court because he was owing another business. And of course, producers, if you are watching, just show us the video of the contractor who went there. Yes, that's what I'm asking for. Now, you notice that he went there because a court had taken a decision, and he was virtually confiscating properties belonging to the Ghana Highways Authority. And this was in February 2020. That was long before government again came to make that promise. Now, if it is your legitimate money, why are you not doing what Big Edu is doing, at least to put government on its toes? I'll come to you, Mr. Atachi, but Madam, your quick response, and I go to Mr. Atachi.
What Big Edu did was very good. That is what we should be doing. But then we are not doing that, which is very bad. We should be doing that because, but what Big Edu did, I am sure because Big Edu was, the bank is kind of maybe taking him to court. Or
yes, he was taken to court by Best Point Savings and Loans Company.
Yes.
For money he had gone to borrow, and he couldn't pay. He went to court, told his story, and the court gave that caveat.
He did very well. And then when he did that, he was paid at the end of it, isn't it? Yes, so I think if we had also done that, it will help us. But we are not doing that. Maybe because our banks are not taking us to court.
You think that is the reason, or it is simply because you have stopped short of taking a certain bold action that will demonstrate that you are really angry? I know that you have held demonstrations before. You occupied, I think, the Urban Roads Department just around 2018, 2019. I know there have been threats to lock facilities that you put up that has not been paid for example. But to what extent, Mr. Atachi?
Yeah, in actual fact, the construction industry, we are just like a military. When we really come out and we want to sell our grievances, nobody will move an inch in this country. Yes. If really we want to, people are thinking we should go demonstration. If you say demonstration, I mean, even nobody will move.
What does it mean?
No, what it means is that all the road will block. Big trucks. When we are, I mean, we are also using the road and come and bypass.
You can't go to work.
Oh, I mean it.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Come on.
We planned doing this some time ago, but it's like, no, we don't have to.
Look,
we stopped.
Look, before you are from Aflau, you reach motorway, you cannot go. If you are coming from Kumasi, you reach some thereabout, you can't go. You reach Cape Coast, you are coming. Before you reach Kasua, you can't go. What do you do? So it will be like a coup. We host the whole country.
But do you think you are angry enough?
But my brother, you see, it took me a longer time before I share my tear. Other than that, you see me crying to you now.
In fact, today when I came to your office, I made an observation which was very emotional. You wanted to show goodwill to some friends who had come to witness your public forum. And I noticed that it was difficult for you to even raise funds to buy coke for them. And I saw that you were doing what
like
we call
Sunday
silver collection.
Yes.
And I saw 5 CDs, I saw 10 CDs,
Yes.
I saw 20
Yes.
CDs, and you put them
and all
together.
that.
And I was telling myself that, hey,
Yes.
contractors, and I can sort you out too. That's on a lighter note.
Yes.
But when you see these bad roads, and of course my producers, sorry I'm doing this to you today because let's do it together. We have some videos of bad roads. Thank you very much. Now, when you see these roads, as contractors who know it is the taxpayers' money which was given to you to start these projects, or people's loans you are taking for this project, and the taxpayer who is actually not living in the East Legons, because when I go to East Legon, and I use that road very often, that stretch from the under tunnel through the East Legon police station, through to the roundabout they've created that links you to Trasaco, to America House, they have constructed that road not more than 5 times between 2017 and 2020. 2023 as we speak. And it appears as if there's some level of discrimination where the average poor Ghanaian who is living in the bread baskets, who are the ones who are feeding the nation, will continue to live like this. When you travel or see these videos and know how much money has been poured on the ground and is going waste, what do you feel about our country or our governance systems?
Yeah, my brother, even my own hometown, I'm from Ketu North. My hometown, Ahi. From Joje to Ahi, from Ahi to Agbozuma. Look, a contractor came in, was working because of delayed payment issue. He packed all the equipment away. Foreign contractor, and the same contractor that's contracting, Teshin Ugo Road, the same company. And I was told, I didn't go there, but I was told he also packed away.
He's packed away.
He's packed away.
The project has been suspended.
Yeah, he packed away.
It's the same as the...
They all packed away.
Know is... what do you know? It's
the payment. My brother.
It's the payment. It's all about the payment.
I'm a businessman.
The thing is, when you've been given this road to do, you do up to here, you raise your certificate. Your certificates have to be paid so you can continue on. Okay, when you raise a certificate and you have some money left, you can continue on. But then when you get there, by the time you get there, you're expecting this money to be paid so you can continue on to the other. Now, you have done the first one, raised first certificate, second certificate, third one, and you're still not paid. What will you do?
Well, when the public forum was being organized, one of the contractors, I think he comes from the Eastern region, or I think Ashanti region, he talked about the impact, the value chain. And I think that's Top Impact video. I want us to listen to him. He's one of them. And of course, some of the critical issues he will raise, we will speak to it. Let's listen.
If the government does not consider the amount of people that are employed within this industry, then he's making a mistake. If a contractor is not paid, he has to sack or stop employing other people. And when they go, they add up to unemployment and other serious situations which goes on with crime and other things. I don't know the criteria that the government uses to pay contractors and other people. For instance, we have the SMCs, the small and medium enterprises, who do some small, and the amount is not so big that the government cannot say that they can't pay. This chunk of money that the government is not paying to the people make us very, very, in fact, disturbed. I want to appeal to the government that contractors work at all levels of the country, in the villages, in the feeder areas, and other places. Wherever we go, we pick people and we employ them. And they depend on us. So if the government is not paying, I want to tell the government that you should consider that the money that is given to us are spread out to people. And the ripple effect is that if the government fails to pay contractors, apart from our personal suffering, the country also suffers. So you must think about paying contractors in order to forestall a sanity in the economic system of this country. I want to appeal to the government that henceforth we hear that the IMF money is in. if it is in, you should consider a certain amount that is adequate enough to cushion the contractors to pay off those categories of, people that they have sacked or they have not paid.
So we'll be listening to the chairman of the National Association of Road Contractors in the second half of our conversation shortly, but this will be brief. As a woman, you are not being paid because government owes you. Can you help us appreciate the emotional attachment looking at your staff and telling them that, look, go home, when you know there are families to look up to, or you are painfully managing to keep them?
No, can't even keep them. So I have sacked all my workers. And
do you go to church? How do you feel?
I go to church. I go to church, but I don't have the money to pay you.
You are lucky to have something to eat.
Exactly. So as I speak with you, even though they are not working for me now, sometimes you are there, you have a call. Madam, I need money to buy Gary. I need money to do stuff. What will you do? Then the little that you have.
These are people you have worked with.
Worked with.
I can see the emotion in your eyes. Don't cry on my set. Mr. Tachi, where are your workers?
I have to let them go.
You don't look like somebody who is struggling. No? I'm doing this. Maybe your laughter is sarcasm. Okay.
Look, you see, some of us, our body enjoy the hardship. Some of us, that's our body. When we are in trouble or we are facing a problem, I mean, about September, I felt sick. When the people see me and I don't look like somebody who has felt sick some few months ago, are you getting my point? Look, like Ashanti chairman said it. Look, when you pay contractor, we will spread the money.
Exactly.
You think government doesn't know?
I mean,
so if you know, why is he keeping our money? You should give it to us so we can also give it out.
Look, when they did, we are working at the place. The food, the vendors over there, they are in good business. Mm-hmm. The drinking sports, they're very good business.
The taxi drivers.
The taxi driver, they are very good business. I mean, the hotel industry, they are very good in business. Even, excuse me, if some people want to relax, they help them.
I understand.
Yeah, you see, but this is the case. You will be there, your worker will call you. Supreme Bet. Oh, Charlie, this morning my daughter felt sick or my wife. I mean, you don't know what to do. Mm-hmm. So you say, okay, if that be, I'll just send you some 100, whatever it is. Sometimes you don't need to drive there, but because you don't have, then you go. If somebody visit you, you are not feeling for a visit you keep long over there, you know that he's having a problem. But if you have money free there and say, Eric, good morning, how's your health? Okay, I have some place going to take this 2,000. Even you get up from the bed and see me off.
I understand.
Yes, you get up from the bed and see me off. But if you don't have, you talk, that thing happened to Kojo last time. That thing happened, So that is the problem we are now.
I can appreciate. We'll be taking a break. One of my colleagues, Odefo Bechi, just recently visited one of the interchanges under construction in Accra. And this conversation goes beyond the contractors. The road users also feel it when roads are abandoned and things get bad. He will just do a brief report to help us appreciate the concerns by the motorists. And then when we come back, we'll speak to what the Association of Road Contractors are demanding now. One of them mentioned IMF. We'll listen to the chairman long after we come back from the break, and then we'll wrap up with the latter part of our conversation. So, or therefore, we'll walk us through the experience by motorists.
That contractor now, yes, Jumade, FC finds there, Busini, and Tiama or how can say Abba, Abuso Kanha. Into a man for Tony Amahanum. Actually, imagine African at the Kudienti, I was a buyman who I never had, I will say Emma.
So overhead, I said, Atina was a cast nap. I will get a whole fitting shop and your shop. From my contractor, no question, or you do now, while protecting a piano, who will be overhead nothing. By chance, obey me, Emma coin to overhead, Nasa than the shop. What to Adiampono? obi mbeto ade because nipa ne ba oche gura na ya che ni say aha na edwuma no cars ni nyina on say on cars park wa bebebe ni nyina che say ha ya e wo inside no
e kwan de egusu eyeye oh aba no de ska kakra bi shima e be start aye e kwan na ha me mo aboso kan ha ye wo kwan bi aso me fan say de ha ye say de mfutu me kan ko me fan say mfutu ana me fan say ha ye
omo na mo ka say sika government mo mo na asa nti omo akọ project no so ama ase so aye basa mfuturo ni nyama nti ama ya okada fo na nkasa ye brewa ene ejuma e fo na omo so omo around no.
And I'm saying ama aboso kan spare part dealers association o ma keka o mun sa ase ama sa enso to ana ata e kwan no ba bi no o ma ye o mo di concrete enso edco tale gusu pepe say ya ka betima fa na manfo o mo tan bi no me di djuma no o mo tima ba wa be di djuma wa ha owura Henry o kire o ye chairman ama aboso ka spare part dealers association since etuja
penyi bi efide bi ba aha no befa ena edwedifo so ba aha no mo befa tena wo se ye hwe na ekwan yeye emre etwe mu so mo ba ha na mo hu se de ha ti a ha ye poto ensuo to a na ha ye basa be ne no ya ye gata no se ensuo no betimi afremi ti ensuo to a ha entimi nye basa eti sa de no ya ye pipe atum se ensuo to a se de eta ha no ensuo no timetime ekọ ema ensuo bia enta ha na ye de coat a egu aye ya ye no concrete na ye de chippings kakra egu ase na ye de coat a so ere ye fence ha ye ya to aso se de ye share bom abuso kan for say problems e wa ha no eno na ya start no eno na mu nyina muso di mu ehu say ya start no na ensi wa ha ye pese esi abuso kan na abuso kan fa na ntuma prefra
usta wa ni say ti ha ya akwa na mo jai na ma traffic ba ha ye duma so akofam ye be sra ban so ntwa na nim na na ma say bibi ya important a ehu hia no omo hwa na mo ya ma ya wa ha because ye duma ni na akofam enu tin ye fa ho se ye de be ye kwan we because some no mo ye ama nsuo tata ha enso mo tunu me ye na e ha ye ye botom scan akofo bobo ya na etuni aye nti ye be sra ban se kwan bi ye sra na amra no me hwe no ye no ni sa wo no fa hwa nyina ama ye na bo so kwan enfa ntuma pemfra aduma akofom
me na me assembly member a me wo Abusokan electoral area within Honorable Tubai Amuda Yusuf. And I remember say last 2 months no any contractor no municipal assembly the contractor no etenase and I say a lack of scarcity nti omo follow up but ready they will come back to the site nti and I say can be ready no omo that site and be ejuma emaye
obetebe lamte interchange phase 2 no eho ensema na ebuso ayedi na we no nyina kire say o se abanyama na nibre na otimba be se adwumadi ema amanfo wo ha na omuso ehoto mu se de aka na mienu pe na yekoto aba okuma wo by election aban ni abra o ye project akese o hodom no but ehwemu kire say aban ni sika enti na sa me contractor na afi kwan so it is a contractor afi kwan so they are not set aban nye sika no ye project ahodo kuma wudi a na o se aban ma na ni ko na sa project won so aye won ka ha no obe na amanfo mu Abusokan omu bigya abanya revenue akese fi wonu oti omu sutini ensako na so modima timi koso wano therefore kwesibeti Abusokan.
Welcome to the Royal Dazzle Event Center. With a lush and well-maintained lawn and garden, you are assured of the best serene and comfortable atmosphere to organize all your family and social events. Live the royal moments here with friends and family. The hosting capacity of 600 to 800 people makes Royal Dazzle the most versatile of places to host weddings, parties, funerals, conferences, concerts, and many more. Create your memories with us. Call us for inquiries on 055-814-8585 or 024-620-2144 or pass by and speak to any of our friendly staff. Locate us at Myjohn, close to Zoom Lion headquarters. Royal Dazzle Event Center, creating memories.
Welcome back. This is Ideas Exchange on TV XYZ. You can follow us on Facebook and, of course, YouTube. And this program, for those of you who have been following this conversation since 8 o'clock, tomorrow afternoon between 1 and 2 p.m., this program will be broadcast live again. Sorry, it will be repeated on this same network. And so if you missed the earlier part of our conversation, you follow us on Facebook or YouTube, you listen to us, and then send or share the links to your colleagues who are equally concerned about our bad roads, abandoned projects, unpaid contractors, how they are surviving, and so on. And of course, tonight my conversation has been with Stephen Atachi. He's the National Vice Chair, Association of Road Contractors, and Mrs. Sylvia Eisen Ampiao. She's a former National Treasurer, that's what I was told, of the Association of Road Contractors. Now, Mr. Atachi, how much does government owe you? I remember when I was going through the files, in 2017, what government made us believe was 20 billion cedis. And then around 2018, they said 15 billion. And as we speak, I don't know, I'm hearing 5 billion, 6 billion. How much does government owe you?
That's 16 billion Ghana cedis.
16 billion?
Yes. It goes like this. Road Fund, 6 billion. GOG, 5, excuse me. GOG is 5 billion.
Right.
If I say GOG, that is government of Ghana. And the Road Fund, that is for periodical maintenance and other things, you know. Then the cocoa roads, that's 4 billion. Then, so far as we are talking about the contractor generally, Gate Fund, that build our schools and our this thing, they also 300 million Ghana cedi. So if you add all, that is 16.
This is quite huge.
Yes.
We'll speak to it. Let's listen to the National Association of the of Road Contractors. He sounded very passionate. At a point, he was talking about people who have died or are permanently paralyzed, and it was quite worrying. You could tell from his eyes that he's not a happy man.
There are contractors who are not working when you go around. It is not intentional. It's all because the work that they have done, which have not been paid, they are in a situation that they hardly can go back to work. There are a lot of projects that have gone on unpaid. When you come to the road fund alone, we have a standing debt of over 5 billion, which is well known all over. It is not news. And the inflow is so small that it will take us a lot of years to get these arrears paid. So it's a plea to the government to really sit down and see how those arrears can be managed and paid to the contractors. We do remember it was Fidelity Bank who were contracted to have this deal with us. That deal was not successful. It was just a few which were paid. Even the issue of being paid from 0 to 1 million cedis, not all of them were paid. So still, there's a lot of outstanding there. We're expecting the government to, like they promised, to go through some Eurobond to cushion the issue of the outstanding debts. That one too we know hasn't been successful. Last year we lost 5 strong members. I don't want to mention the names for them. And those bedridden, they are many. and I tell you, yes. And it's not easy. Proca, Asrock, and those who are not even with us, they are suffering. I imagine a contractor calling me, asking me for just 600 cedis for his treatment at the hospital. It tells you how serious the matter is. 600 cedis is paid to house helps in Ghana. But look at a whole contractor who has over 2 million cedis lying in the ministry, and he can't even get 600 cedis to pay. The effect is just so bad on us. It's terrible. There's been a series of meetings with the government, especially the Ministry of Roads and Highways. But the issue is there's no money. So anytime you go, the assurances they give us, they're not able to perform. We have this IMF money coming in. We know it is as much as about 600 million, the first tranche. We want to ask and appeal to the government that some part of it must be used in paying for the arrears.
That was the lighter side of the serious concerns that were raised. While we were on break, I was just having a chat with my colleagues here that can you imagine that at the end of this month, you'll be told that we'll pay you maybe around the third week of next month. And the screen here just suggested that even as we speak, people cannot even, the pay will not take you home. That's the reality. And imagining that you have huge dependents and maybe your lifestyle has been tailored according to the job, genuine job you are doing over decades. And so you live perhaps at East Legon or Jowulu or somewhere around Spentex Road. I'm just mentioning them at random, where maybe the lifestyle or your pocket moves you to that area. Then all of a sudden, you're not paid for this long period. You can imagine the impact on your own home, let alone your dependents. But there was a long conversation about government going to IMF, government looking for money, government meeting stakeholders. Were you factored in the negotiation towards the IMF deal? No. To the extent that you will be expecting that, just as the pensioner board holders are saying, government, you are getting 600 million, hive some and settle us. And now you are also looking at the same IMF money.
No, there's nothing like that. What I can recall was when the yield levy issue came in, we were called to support the idea because yield levy become Utiye Oya. That minister, how do you call it?
Akobam.
Akobam. Oyemye Oya, Akobam. So the sector minister called us, tell us that, look, if this is true, then our problem is solved.
Forever.
Forever. But to your surprise, you see a rain. You just see the cloud gathering, then the water you are having in your pot, then you fetch and throw them away. Why do I say that? You are expecting the yield levy. Then the toll in a country, we used to raise, every year you raise almost about 150 million out of that.
That's road tolls which we
toll alone. We have a three, for the road fund, we have a 3 areas. That's our entries. The fuel you used to buy, the how do you call it, the provision you used to buy, then the toll. Now, that toll has been closed 2 years now. And give and take, if it is, 150, then you could see you pay the 300 to even the, how do you call it?
Get fund contractors.
The get fund contractors. But that money, no way. So, there is no hope for us that, because we were not informed that money, what exactly they will do it. We are not factoring.
So, Madam, at this stage, I always come to you on the other side of how this is affecting human beings, because women, you are very passionate about some of these things. Your colleagues who are bedridden, your colleagues who have died. Today, when I came there, I saw 2 pictures of obituaries.
Yes.
I took those pictures. I wanted to show them on the screen, but I felt the family may not be comfortable, so I'm not showing it. But when they die and they leave those who are supposed to, how do you manage it? As an association, you should be concerned. How are you managing this?
Yes, we should be concerned, but we don't even have the money to help them. That is it. Kofi, the first one you saw was our staff. Kofi could just call and say, oh, I need some money, and then we will send. Now, we don't even have it to say that, oh, we'll help Kofi's children. We can't do that. Because even you yourself, you don't have it. Some of the contractors are dead. Dead because they did not have money. Even though they have money at road fund, they have money at wherever. They couldn't get money to buy medication. I know somebody who's not feeling well. He has a lot of money at the road fund. But buying medicine, it's a problem for the person now. Why should that be?
And for
it's
5
really,
years?
And for 5 years. It's really not a good thing.
So at this stage, you want government to look at the IMF money, 600 million that is coming,
really
the first tranche. Are you officially petitioning government? How are you going about this to send your message across?
Yeah, out of that 600, if my mathematics tell me well, we only need about $38 million out of that 600. It's a peanut. They should, locate that money for us.
To settle all your arrears?
Yes.
Government should be kind to us to pay us.
Will part payment do?
No, you see, where you reach now, as I'm talking to you, today, people may submit their certificate. Because our job is ongoing.
It's continuous.
Exactly. As I'm talking to you, somebody may, present his bill. Okay? So, the more they waste time, the more the debt is building up.
So beyond the appeal, what other options are available? I made reference to Big Edu. There is the option which you people don't want to take now, that route of deciding that you want to block the roads to demonstrate that enough is enough. Pensioner bondholders, when it became tough, they decided to picket at the finance ministry.
Even the drivers, even the nurses. Sometimes the nurses went to...
So everything suggests that you are either not angry enough or...
We are just considerate. We are just considering.
How long
everything.
will you be considerate?
So the government or the president should also consider and give us our own money.
Have you thought about this? We don't have much time, but have you thought about this perception? I got a text message and somebody was saying, look, if we don't take time and we don't break this cycle, it will be a cyclical albatross on the neck of your businesses. Yes. So another government comes and brands another set of contractors as maybe contractors working for, let's say, MPP.
Yes.
And so we may not pay them. And now let us sort out those who have been punished over the period. When you people meet, you know yourselves, some may be NDC, some may be MPP, but you are doing pure business. Do you feel that it is threatening the local construction industry?
Oh, yes. I mean, if you look at the trend of what is going on, it's clear in that way. Because typical example, we are using trouble in our political arena. Somebody will feel, you are from Kibi. So since we are from Kibi, you are among the mafias. And they say, the purely Anglo people, they believe that, how do you call it, Anglo man is NDC. Meanwhile, MPP never get zero in voter origin. MPP never get zero. No, somebody should come and convince me. They never get zero in voter origin. No.
So not everybody is NDC.
Exactly.
And therefore, businesses cannot be punished as such. But the contractors are not only from voter region.
But that's the way now. Look, I quote the former president, Kufuor. He said that, look, the members of the MPP alone can never let them win. I quote him.
Madam, if you have the opportunity, now you are petitioning the government, and of course that's your camera, and you wanted to speak to Akufo-Addo directly, or people in government directly, as a worried woman who cares about your colleagues who are dying slowly, what would you say?
Mr. President, please, contractors, we are asking you to please pay us. Because we owe banks, and also we need to, even sometimes we even need to settle our workers. You would even get some contract, and then you end up the contract, you have not even paid some of your artisans. Mr. President, please, we are asking that. We don't know what we have done. And we are really asking that you forgive us whatever we have done to you, and then pay us. Because some of our contractors are dying. Majority are dead. Just last 2 weeks, I met somebody. I asked of this man, they said he's gone. I asked of that man, they said he's gone. Please, we beg of you. We want to use some of the IMF to pay us. Please, Mr. President.
And that was Mrs. Sylvia Eisen-Ampiao. Mr. Tachi.
Yeah.
As a national vice chairman of the association, you'll be speaking through our cameras to your members and, of course, by extension, to government or those interested in your industry and its contribution to national development. Speak.
Yeah, in actual fact, as I've said, we are partners in development. We are not interested in this kind of partisan or whatever it is. So we are appealing to the government or the president. Some years ago, Nyantechi said something. I quote. He said the NDC contractors, they are the check will just rot over there. But we thought it was a joke. But now when he said that, nobody come out to say that, look, what the guy is saying, this is we are disclaimer about the whole thing. No, up to today. And now what is happening now is clear. So it should be out of Nyantechi pocket. I hope it's out for those that say Nyantechi say that the president is his pocket. So we are begging. We hope Nyantechi has released him from his pocket, and the money, 600 million US MF money, we will need just a drop of it, which is 40.
So what you are saying by extension is that you have endured this for
quite a long time.
Quite a long time.
Yes.
And government must prove
some utterances
pessimists
yes,
wrong,
yes.
that those utterances really are not what people should believe.
Yes.
That's the import of what you said.
Exactly.
Right. So to your members.
Yeah, to my members, that we all come together and say it in that way. You see, because initially when we say this, oh, let's jojo. But when you reach now, we should come out with
Okay, I think Sylvia wanted to add something. Yeah.
What I want to add is that our minister, what is his name?
Amoakwanta.
Mr. Amoakwanta, please help contractors.
Come on.
You would have to take our matter to the president.
But he was at Kumewu, inspecting road projects.
We are talking about payment, not inspecting the project. We are talking about payment. So he should go and tell the president, the contractors need their money.
I can understand the diplomacy our contractors are adopting to get this issue resolved. In fact, every country would wish that people do businesses in peace and grow their businesses for the benefit of the masses. This conversation has helped us to appreciate the value chain, those who benefit from active contractors on the ground. Again, it has also come up in this conversation that we need to ensure that we give so much support to our local contractors so that they can grow up to become the the Brazilian firm which constructed the Circle project. Is it Quiroz something? I've forgotten the name. In fact, there are big foreign contractors doing business here, and we believe that local contractors can do so. The cost of borrowing money is very high. It has been high not from today, from several years ago. And so if contractors would have to mobilize and go to site, and government would not consider the cost involved if you default or you don't get the money paid in time, then government is directly or indirectly collapsing local businesses. We don't want to believe that government is interested in helping foreign businesses to flourish and kill local businesses. That will not help the Ghana Beyond Aid agenda. That's a rhetoric comment that I'm sharing, and I believe that those who are following will add a word, and in prayer, we'll pray for this country. My name is Eric Ahianyo. Tomorrow, between 1 and 2 o'clock, join us on TVXYZ for a repeat of this program. To my producers, I'm so thankful, and bye-bye for now.